Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for something very, very different. Today, we're going to be talking about a company that I've covered numerous times on my Kickstarter critique segment. We're going to be talking about MYTHIC Games, because today, they had what I do believe will go down as the straw that breaks the camel's back for them. Because today they announced, for their massively popular Siege 6 board game, which is based off Rainbow Six, a massively popular video game, some very, very bad news. For some reason, in Sunglasses, which, hey, Corey Hart, you do you, that they were not going to be able to get the games to backers unless they have what they call, and you're going to see this throughout, compensation. All right? So, what I wanted to do was figure out what exactly is going on with this. I thought I'd bring it to you. So here's the lowdown. Essentially, if you got the retailer pledge, the cheap one, that most people don't get, let's be quite frank, but this one, 3,530 people got, but that's still not a lot compared to the other pledges, which have, no, it's still a good number, about 5,500, whatever. But these people who paid $69, so they paid $69 for the game, plus they also paid a huge chunk for shipping. Let's just say United States of America, because that's where most people who back on Kickstarter are. $29. So they're charging you $69 for the space game, $29 for the shipping, and now today they say, hey, we need some extra money. Not to ship the games, necessarily, but to start production of the games. To make the games. Which we'll get back to that. There's a little bit of foreshadowing there. I wanted to emphasize exactly what they said they were going to do with the money. Like, we need these to make the games because the cost of materials has gone up. Okay? So, once again, back to that $69 pledge level. They're asking for $39 additional dollars. The pledge was $69 for the game. Hey, you want the $60 MSRP, but I understand you got a Rainbow Six theme on there. So $69, that seems reasonable. Then you get to the shipping, of course, and the shipping is also an additional $29. So the shipping, because they're just they pretty much are saying, hey, you pay us extra. You're going to need to pay us extra through the shipping. That's how they're booking. So now the shipping for the $69 game has jumped from $29, which, by the way, insanity, to $68. What? I feel like Lewis Black right now. I'm losing my mind. So the game is $69, and now the shipping is $68, and this is just to make the game, because that doesn't mean that means it's going to get shipped to you. And there's potential alluding in this to the fact that, yeah, we might need some more later on when it comes to, shipping it to your door. So that's just for the base pledge. We get to the all-in. It's $99 additional dollars. It's $99. I have been on Kickstarter so long that I remember when an all-in pledge was, you'd be like, wow, $99, that's the all-in pledge. So your price goes from $199 to now $298. And then we get to the smooth operator pledge. $269. You got to do $50 for the shipping on that. So we're up to $319. But no, Mr. Sunglasses, we're now up to another extra $129. Now, I have always heard that MYTHIC Games has had a terrible reputation. And today I took it upon myself that I really wanted to examine why people say they have a bad reputation. And I did. I sifted through thousands of comments. I sifted through thousands of updates. And no, that's not me being hyperbolic, as we're about to get to figure out exactly what the hell is going on with MYTHIC Games and how did we get to the point where we are now, where the $69 game, we're going to need $68 to do the shipping, and that'll probably get it across the door to you. And we need to start when they first started. So we go. MYTHIC Games, the first thing they ever did, MYTHIC Battles Pantheon. And I actually was in a press meeting for this. I remember they showed me the game. They bought us some food and some beers. It was a great little fun thing. Now, this technically is MYTHIC Games, but it's not. It's Monolith Games. And Monolith Games that you're going to see is attached to MYTHIC Games a couple times throughout this video. It's an interesting relationship. It's one of those ones like, have you ever seen those two in a room together? You know, like I said, like I'm not insinuating that, but it feels like that sometimes. And I do want to say, I check the comments of this video in the future because I'm going to pin anyone who has more things, because I'm about to tell you some really bad Kickstarter stuff, and I don't even feel like I've hit the tip of the iceberg in many instances. It's crazy. So Mythic Battles Pantheon, I'm not going to judge this one because, once again, this one, Monolith pretty much took the credit for this one. So I'm not counting that on the track record. We are only going to look at all of their crowdfunding projects one by one. So let's get it started. And we start off with Joan of Arc Time of Legends. This was huge, hitting $2 million. Now, this one launched in October 2017. They had a ship date that they said they were going to hit it December 2018, and it came out in summer of 2019. So it was about a year late, but it's Kickstarter. You kind of accept that. The general synopsis was this was mad rules, and in fact, they were so mad rules, like bad rules. Like they just were not, it was not a good rule booklet, that they ended up in the future doing a 1.5, a version 1.5, which we will talk about that Kickstarter a little bit later. But honestly, the first Kickstarter went relatively swimmingly, aside from being a little bit late. People enjoy the game. A lot of people still, it's relatively highly rated, which is something you're going to see for most of Mythic games. It's not the games that are killing the people. That's a bad use of the word. That are just kind of ruining this company for people, because a lot of people are done with Mythic games. It's just everything else around the games. And it's just it's crazy. So, Joan of Arc does relatively well, and you would expect it to. It's their first game. They obviously have to crush that one. They have to do a good job on that one, and they released a beautiful game that, for the most part, people really enjoyed. And so then they launched Solomon Kane. So Solomon Kane came out, the Kickstarter was in June 2018. They said July 2019 is when the game would ship, and this one did not ship until around April 2021. 3 years. So, this one, once it finally did come out after 3 years, which, once again, you back Kickstarters, you know how that feels, was met with, once again, mad rules, and there was an errata. And that's going to be a running theme that you're going to see with this company, is their rules are just not up to snuff with nearly anything they put out, at least based on what their comment section are and what their update sections are. And I'm not going to get into those too much, because I'll be honest with you, they have insane, like this one has 26,000 comments and 209 updates. Oh, you didn't see it on Joan of Arc that it has 260 updates. That's the company sending you 260 emails. If you purchase both of these games or back both these games, you got 460 emails from Joan of Arc, or from Mythic Games. Like, it's nuts. But it also makes it really difficult to pinpoint exactly what went wrong with some of these campaigns. Now, Solomon Kane, it came out, people generally like the games aside from the rules and the errata, but there was one thing that really did not go well, and this is called Maryland. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to spotlight all the different little controversies or what the heck happened with the game that people really got ticked off about. And so what this was Maryland was this miniature that was in the game. It was an expansion to the game or something like that. I'm going to give you the cliff notes. And it wasn't good. It was to the point that they were like, all right, we're going to reprint this one. We're going to send this one back out, and then we'll get it to you. And some people did get it, and then some people didn't get it. And then some people got really mad when they didn't get it, and then it ended up on Miniature Market, where you can still buy it. There's 20 in stock. Jump on that. And what they said was, where was it? Oh yeah, we sold that game. So yeah, we sold that to Monolith. I believe it was Monolith. Yeah, we sold that game to Monolith. It's not our game anymore. So have a good day. Bye. And this will not be the only time in this video where this happens, where some people are going to get screwed on customer service because, yeah, well, it's not our game anymore. Sorry. Check out our new one, though. So, Solomon Kane, still relatively smooth sailing still. 2 very solid games. They're highly rated on Board Game Geek. And then we get to the next project. Reichbusters Project The Real. This one raised $911,000. Massive success. Let's see what my little notes say. So this one launched on 11/18, so November 2018. They said they'd have it out next November 2019. It came out April 2020. So what's that, like 6, 7, 8 months late? That's very Kickstarter reasonable to me. And once again, the big synopsis with this was meta rules, and not just an errata to the rules, but this one they had to print an entire errata pack because just the rules were not up to snuff. That's one thing. Once again, I'm not going to go through all the comments because this one has 17,000. It is just littered with people having other technical issues, like, oh, really bad customer service. Like, I responded, I have not gotten mails back for 3 months, this, that, the other thing. It's absolutely laughable in some of these updates, and I think I might have it further up here, where they literally said, hey, we're getting so many complaints. Okay, that's coming to Joan of Arc 1.5. Save it for us. Reichbusters, though, it was, they got the errata pack out. That was nice. And then, they sold, so Reichbusters is now not theirs anymore. It's now on a different company. And then we have Super Fantasy Brawl. And Super Fantasy Brawl went really good. So that one was done 6/19, and so that was when the Kickstarter was. They said it's going to come out March 2020. It came out October 2020, very reasonable. And there was like an issue with French cards, I guess like something with French cards. But other than that, relatively smooth sailing. Good stuff. People like the game. People got the game. Moving onward. Fantastic. What you would hope every Kickstarter ends up being like, right? Then we get to the Super Fantasy Brawl. Why do I have it too? What's up Wednesday? Final update until we have something new. Oh, there was one controversy. I scooped out this one. It's a minor one. So essentially they said, hey, there's going to be these bags. You can get these bags. You pay extra for these bags, but the bags are going to come way, way, way later because they're getting them through a different company. It's a minor thing. You know, it's like one of those things where you're like, okay. Typical Kickstarter stuff, like the Maryland thing. But I did want to be thorough. I did want to mention everything here. And then we get to Time of Legends, Joan of Arc 1.5, which I will not beat around the bush here. If you don't know, I do a segment called the Kickstarter Critique where I really deeply analyze a Kickstarter project every weekday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a fun time. You should join us. After going through this Kickstarter page, this is the most inept Kickstarter I think I've ever seen in my life. It's astounding the number of bad things on this. Like I had to give it its own post-it note. Everybody else is sharing post-it notes. This one got a post-it note, and then I got a 2 because this one's ripped off. So let's get on Joan of Arc 1.5. So the rules were not great in the original Joan of Arc. So they're doing a second print run of it. Raised $1 million, and this one started on October 2019. They said you will have it in October 2020, and then it came out in January of 22. Is that 22 or 23? Yeah, I think that's 22. Either way, not great. So the big synopsis was meta rules once again, par for course with them, and also really kind of inexcusable, as many people mentioned, because this is supposed to be the fixed version of things. Why are the rules still not great? And then there's just a whole list of other controversies, I guess you'd call them, kind of similar to the Maryland thing, except this one had a lot of them. Okay, so first and foremost, there was supposed to be a comic that came out as well, and it was like it was from Babel Brothers or something, and they did like an update. It was a really long thing because they have 143 updates on this one. So if you back Joan of Arc, and Joan of Arc 1.5, you have gotten 400 emails from Mythic Games. And that's also a running theme that I saw through these comment sections where people saying, yeah, I put that into spam. Well, I now see why there's so many people saying that. And there is going to be turning the tide, because I will say, Sam Healy of Dice Tower fame comes in certain on, and their customer service really does pick up with Sam. Like, he did as good of a job as you could do with what he had to work with. But you'll get there. So there was supposed to be a comic, it didn't happen, and then there was like a role-playing game, and then this one had a whole laundry list of controversial things where, like, I don't even know if it came out. It's pretty bad. So what about base cards, tiles, and minis that are missing, stickers missing, dice missing, not include siege parts, bridges, and many other larger concerns? Like, there was so many massive issues with this. They had to put it in the update, pretty much, and say, And there's updates. There's update after update. There's like a string of like 7 updates where it's just like, here's the problem we're talking about this week. Here's the problem we're talking about this week. Here's the problem we're talking about this week. And it's staggering to go through all of them. It's just, there was something with the panel hardcover GM screen. Like the Brazilian pledges, like everybody in Brazil like didn't get a bunch of stuff, and then I don't know if they got them. Because it's like this comment section is really hard to navigate through, 15,000 of them. Warp minis, pretty much everybody's games had more minis, and they talked like it's bad. And of course, an errata. And there was like an app that I guess wasn't doing that. And this really, you see this, and you see this Kickstarter, and you say to yourself, "Wow, how did we get to the point where Ubisoft is letting them do this?" Because a lot of these Kickstarters that we're going to talk about overlapped. You know, if Solomon Kane launches 2 years later, it's crazy. And if you actually go through the comment section, it's just, you feel bad for their public relations people. Amanda, oh my gosh, you are a trooper. Like, because it is just nothing but negativity going on here. And then, of course, as we mentioned earlier, Time of Legends is no longer a Mythic Games license. We lost it to the original person. So you got issues, you know. Have we told you about Enchanters East Quest? Like, that's pretty much how it feels like. That Joan of Arc Kickstarter, that was a rough one. But people got it. Most people said they're probably never going to play it out of spite. I wouldn't say most people, but a lot of people. Shouldn't say that. Because obviously most people are not going to do that. But the all-in for that, by the way, was over $1,000 for shipping. I believe it was. I think it was 980 something or something. It was stupid high. Stupid high. And that was one thing I saw people drop in the comments a couple times. Like, I'm in over $1,000 on this game. And, yeah. I feel stupid. So, now, they decide to take a new tactic. And you're going to see this happen quite a bit. Where they're like, all right, we're going to take a game that already exists, that people really liked, people loved, and we're going to get that oh-so-juicy second print run, which I mention all the time on the Kickstarter critique. The second print run of a game, that's where you see a lot of these projects just explode, like Joan of Arc 1.5, for example. And so that's what they did. They took this Enchanters East Quest game, then on 2/20, so February 20, they said, hey, we will have this out on 9/20, and it came out around 1/21, so not too far off there. People had issues with the rules, of course. That's what I wrote down here. I wrote list. Oh yeah, so this is the list. So this is the update of the 73 updates where they talked to. So here's how Mythic Games, at least from what I can infer from watching or looking at all their Kickstarters, is they say, hey, we're gonna wait till everybody's got everything, and then you just lay it all on us. Tell us everything that's wrong with it, and then we're gonna take all those things and we're gonna discuss them all. And I do believe this is where you really start to feel Sam Healy's customer service come into play. Because when I say that, you're saying, oh, that sounds really that sounds like the best way to handle that. That really does. But there's lots of issues, and most of these are minor. I will say that after reading them. But once again, I'm not somebody paying hundreds of dollars for this. But the fact that there's like a legit list. And then here's the thing. They said they were going to fix some of this stuff, and then they didn't. Because they're like, we just can't. And that sucks. Like, that just sucks. And they said, hey, we'll do this. And they're like, no, we're not. And when they have so many projects that are outstanding, you can't help but feel that it's like, I wonder if maybe that's because we're putting a little more oomph in Darkest Dungeon or this, that, or the other thing. And, okay. So, next, because we haven't got to Darkest Dungeon, because they did that one too. We have Steam Watchers. So this one, March 20th, was the Kickstarter. And March 2021, they said the game would be out. It came out December 21. Average review, I think, was in the 5,000s. Not bad, not great. This one did not actually have too many, I think, issues with rule booklets either, no less. So, once again, pretty good there. Pretty good on this one. Can't knock a hole, so good stuff. And then we get to Hell the Last Saga. I almost forgot about this one because we have so many. So this one launched 5/20. They said we'll have this out June 2021, and it has not been released yet, as we're going to talk about with quite a few. So this one raised $2.2 million, and the most recent update is not the greatest. When, once again, let me repeat this to you. They said that this game would be coming out in June of 2021, and the title of the tester's feedback. This is them talking about how they're still play testing the game, pretty much. So, terribly, horribly delayed. Not to mention, so far from even, like, it's not even into manufacturing yet. Where you say, okay, an influx of cash is going to push this along. Like, if we already need money to push Siege 6 out, how the hell is hell going to get out? Like, and it's like, this is a $2 million game, which I believe, once again, based off a video game, I don't know, that wasn't what I was really researching today, because next we get to Darkest Dungeon, which is most definitely based off a very popular video game. This one, they launched October 20th. They said we'll have this out November 21. They got it out December 22, a year late. I also put an asterisk here, because not everybody has their games. They broke this up into 2 waves. Wave 1, which is, I think, mostly United States, UK. This was very difficult to figure out, because once again, 124 updates, 32,000 comments. Like, slap that subscribe button. I felt like Barbara Walters today, going hard doing this research. And this one, the rules, of course, people had issues with the rules, and as what many people called in the comments section, holding their games hostage. So pretty much what they said is, we don't have the money to get all the games out to you. So you are going to need to pay extra to get the games out. Exactly kind of what they're doing with Rainbow Six Siege, except this was to get the game to your door, and the other one is to get the game to the manufacturer, I think. So that's, looks like 1K in Hell, Monster, and Necromancers down the tube. Yeah, there's more. Oh yeah, there's more. Like, you're going to be shocked by how much more there is. Like, it's, like, you hear these things and you're like, wow, and that just kept going. So yeah, they were like, hey, we need more money to get stuff. And these ones, though, are pretty reasonable, right? 18, 26, 46, 69. It's not like you're paying $68 shipping for a $69 game or anything. Because that'd be silly. That'd be crazy. That'd be the Kickstarter bubble that we're in companies that have stuff like this. But hey, let's get to Super Fantasy Brawl 2, which, gosh darn it, was a good one. October 2, so this one launched 3/21. They said you'll have it October 21. It came out April 22. Very reasonable. And I could not have agreed any more with what Carlos D said. Good old days, this campaign. I'm going to guess Carlos D was not on the Joan of Arc 1.5 Kickstarter, but maybe just the other ones. And this one did. Smooth sailing. People really enjoy the game. Cool. Good. Moving on. That's what you want to see. But that's not what you're not seeing. You would expect this video to be over now. You're like, surely, how many more games are we going to talk about that this one Kickstarter company did? Monster Apocalypse, the board game. This one, on Kickstarter, made $1.3 million. Because as I said with the Enchanters a little bit earlier, they got into this thing where they're like, all right, we're going to take these pre-established games that we know are popular, and we're going to put out a second print run because we know that's juicy, we know that's easy money, we know we can put minis into this stuff, we can make tons of money. Right? It's a great business strategy. I'm not faulting that in any way, shape, or form. So they dug up Privateer Press's Monster Apocalypse's corpse and said to all their loyal fans, hey, this is going to happen. And now you say to yourself, ooh. So they needed money for the Darkest Dungeon. They needed money for Rainbow Six Siege. They still have Hell too, which one of those do you think they're going to want to push out the door faster? And in fact, they said as much in the update, which I thought I had opened in a tab. And by the way, I want to say on the updates, there are big gaps in some instances between it. Like, for instance, their beginning of January updates for pretty much all their things was, hey, New Year's resolution, we're going to do an update every month. And then you say January 6th, March 31st, okay. And this is pretty much just them saying, hey, you know, we changed our business strat. We're going to maybe focus on some other stuff now. We're focused really on Siege 6. You know, we got this other big stuff. So, you know, here's what's good. That's cool. That's cool. You go to the comments, and it's just like, sad as it is, because I'm a huge fan of this IP, I think I might be ready for a refund as well. And here's the other thing. There's lots. Like, if this were game founded, you could actually type Control F and C, what the most popular words were. Refund would be one of them. And there's like what some people were insinuating was like some shady tactics they were using on when they would allow refunds and all this other stuff, and like months of not getting emails back. I'm not digging too much into that, but there's a lot of people thinking a lot of things, and I felt bad for their customer service people. So Monster Apocalypse pretty much been told, hey, you're not the most important person here. And you say, well, that's clearly, nope, there's another one. And it's another $1 million Kickstarter. What is wrong with us as a hobby, people? Look at this, there's so many tabs. So many damn tabs. And this one, of course, raised $1 million, because that's what they do. I mean, that's what they do. They're really good at running Kickstarter projects. And then, so this is their most recent update from January, no less. This one, they didn't even give them the respectful March update. This is from January, and this is pretty much like, oh, hey, just a reminder, you know, we're trying to just focus on other games. This one is Anasteer. So yeah, you're one of the cool games, actually. Never mind. So we're focused on you. We're gonna get you out. Don't worry. But let's be quiet. You're behind Darkest Dungeon, Siege 6, and hell. So let's just know your place, Anasteer. What the hell kind of name is that? But yeah, this one obviously is not out, and they haven't updated since January after the New Year's resolution. And that's not the end, because then someone at Kickstarter finally did their freaking job, and they went to GameFound. And once again, they revived the corpse of Rise of the Necromancers, did that oh so juicy. Actually, I think this might have been a third parent one, because they actually did 2 Kickstarters. The company did this. And needless to say, I know this is not going to come as a shock to you, but people are worried. The people who did $317,000 to this game, because once again, we see fancy minis and we throw money, just no matter what. Backer kit. Maybe, and by the way, I will post an update when we get whatever backer kit game that Mythic Games probably is going to try and throw up there. But no, that's it. There's not. Wait, is there more? There's another tab? Oh, this is just saying, oh yeah, they're redoing this. So yeah, there's that. And so hopefully you feel like this video wasn't clickbait, because I literally do feel like this is the most inept board game company I've ever seen on the Kickstarter front, at least just from looking at everything that is public knowledge on updates and comments. And I'm so interested to see where this goes. How does this play out? Because these are multi-million-dollar Kickstarters. Like, these are the kind of things where I feel like we're in a Kickstarter bubble. We're in a board game bubble with Kickstarter. Let's be quite honest. It is not sustainable that every week we're launching $200+ all-in campaigns. It's just not. Like, I know the hobby's growing and we got new people, and I love it. Welcome. But it's not. It can't keep going. And then you have things like this. And most of the time when we see these big Kickstarter dumpster fires, it's like a one-off. It's like, oh yeah, there's that huge, the Doom to Atlantic City. It was a huge thing. They made one game. They're just continuing to churn things out. You know, Anasteer, Rise of the Necromancers, was in December. So hopefully, and I'm not even joking, will they go to backer kit? Let me know. Do you think they will in the comments below? Because the bottom line is, if this is a 5th Street Games scenario, which, showing my age here, so 5th Street Games is a company put out some really cool games. It pretty much came out after the fact that they would have to launch a Kickstarter, and then that Kickstarter money would pay for the next Kickstarter, and then pay for the next Kickstarter, because there was some mistake that was made along the line. And when you look at Mythic Games' track record, like you say, damn, like how much extra money have they had to pay for all these issues they've had? And for how many people they have on staff? Because I didn't show you any of them, but they had a lot of people working for them. They were like, we're going to be CMON. And that's the thing I always mention in my Kickstarter critique. CMON's fantastic at running Kickstarters. CMON has their own laundry list of problems. But the bottom line is, CMON, you can't copy CMON. CMON's a massive company. They have the X-Men license. They have the Marvel license. They're doing $1 million Kickstarters all the time. If you try and do your Kickstarter like CMON does your Kickstarter, it's just not going to work. It's like if I said, you know what? The Rock looks like a badass. I'm going to start working out tomorrow, and I'm going to work out exactly like The Rock. It's just, there's levels to this. And I think Mythic Games is an example of us seeing that, yeah, there's levels to this. And honestly, after going through this Kickstarter campaign and going through every single one of these, I have a lot more respect for a lot of these big Kickstarter companies. Because there's so many things that can go wrong. And yet, they just all seem to happen in Mythic Games. But, there you go. Let me know what you think about this segment in the comments down below. I've never really done anything too much like this. Also, if you have a suggestion, let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below as I'm trying to reach 17,000 subscribers in 2023 to make it my biggest year ever. Bye-bye. Oh, wait. I should say bye-bye when I have the tab ready. There it is. Bye-bye. For real this time, though.